280. Therāpadāna. On a rough spot on the highway, I caused a bridge to be fashioned, for the sake of the world's crossing, feeling well pleased by my own hands. In the 91 eons since that bridge got constructed by me, I've come to know no bad rebirth. That's the fruit of giving a bridge. In the 55th aeon hence, there was one man, Sammajjaka, a wheel-turning king with great strength, possessor of the 7 gems, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Therāpadāna spoke these verses. The legend of Therāpadāna is finished. The summary: Sova and Talamahai, Kakot, Abhanjam, Anjali, Pathaka, Sataka, Mala, Ekapwari, Setuna. When the verses are counted by wise people there are 42. The Suvabimbohana chapter, the 28th. (422). Ekadussadayaka. In the city Hasavat, I was a grass carrier then. I earn my living hauling grass, and through it I feed my children. The victor, Pajamudara, was the master of everything, doing away with the darkness. The world leader arose back then. While sitting down in my own house, this is what I thought at that time. The Buddha's risen in the world, but I lack anything to give. I only have this single cloak. I do not have my own donor. Suffering is a taste of hell. I will now plant a donation. Contemplating it in this way, I brought pleasure to my own heart. Taking that single piece of cloth, I gave it to the best Buddha. Having given that single cloth, I gave rise to great shouts of joy. If you are a Buddha, wise one, carry me across, O great sage. Pajamudara, world knower, sacrificial recipient, singing the praises of my gift. The Buddha then gave thanks to me, because of this single cloak gift. Done with intention and resolve, he will not go to a bad place. For 100,000 eons, 36 times a Lord of gods, he will exercise divine rule, and 33 times he'll become a king who turns the wheel of law. There will be much regional rule, incalculable by counting. In the world of gods or of men, you'll transmigrate in existence, good-looking and full of virtue, with a body that's not surpassed. You'll obtain, whenever you wish, unwavering, limitless cloth. When he had said this, the Buddha, known by the name Supreme Lotus, the hero rose into the sky, just like a swan king in the air. In whichever womb I'm reborn, whether it's human or divine, I have no lack of possessions. That's the fruit of a single cloth. With every footstep that I take, some cloth is then produced for me. I stand upon cloth underneath, a canopy on top of me, and today I still am wishing that I could cover with some cloth, even the whole universe, with its forests and its mountains, just because of that single cloth. Transmigrating from birth to birth, I was one of golden color, transmigrating from birth to birth. One result of that single cloth. No ruination anywhere. This one will be my final life, that now is bearing fruit for me, in the 100,000 eons. Since I gave that cloth at that time, I've come to know no bad rebirth. That's the fruit of a single cloth. My defilements are now burnt up. All new existence is destroyed. Like elephants with broken chains, I am living without constraint. Being in best Buddha's presence was a very good thing for me. The 3 knowledges are attained. I have done what the Buddha taught, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Ekadussadayaka spoke these verses. The legend of Ekadussadayaka is finished. (423). Ekananadayaka. In the Himalayan region, there's a mountain named Kosika. My well-built hermitage is there, with well-fashioned halls made of leaves. My name back then was Narada, and I was known as Kassapa. I'm living on Kosika then, seeking the path of purity. The victor, Pajamuttara, the great master of everything, solitude lover, Sambuddha, came there in the path of the wind. Seeing the rays of the great sage, flying over the forest then, I prepared a couch out of sticks, and spread my leather robe on it. After preparing him that seat, hands pressed together on my head, declaring my great state of mind, I spoke these words to him back then. You are the surgeon, great hero, the physician for the diseased. O guide, give your healing to me, one who's afflicted with disease. O sage, those seeking what is right, who see you, O best of Buddhas, always gain success in their goal. Existence is shattered for them. There's nothing for me to give you. I live eating only wild fruits. But I do have this seat to give. Sit down on this couch made of sticks. The blessed one did sit down there, unfrightened like a lion king. After spending a moment there, he spoke these words to me back then. Be confident. Don't be afraid. You have obtained a wishing stone. Everything which you have wished for will be fulfilled in the future. It is no trifle what you've done. In the unexcelled merit field, self-lifting up is possible. For one whose mind is well controlled, because of this gift of a seat, done with intention and resolve, for 100,000 eons, you won't fall into suffering. 50 times the Lord of the gods, you will exercise divine rule, and 80 times you'll be a king who turns the wheel of law, and there will be much local rule, innumerable by counting. Being happy in every place, you'll transmigrate in existence. Having said this, the Sambuddha, the leader, ultimate lotus, the hero rose into the sky, just like a swan king in the air, elephant and horse vehicles, with chariots and palanquins. I am obtaining all of them. That's the fruit of a single seat. Even having entered the woods, whenever I wish for a seat, discerning what I am thinking, palanquins waiting on me, being gone into the water. Whenever I wish for a seat, discerning what I am thinking, palanquins waiting on me, in whichever womb I'm reborn, whether it's human or divine, 100,000 palanquins are waiting on me all the time. I transmigrate in just two states, that of a god or of a man. When human, I'm born in two clans, the Kshatriyan or the Brahmin, having given a single seat. In the unexcelled merit field, taking the teaching palanquin, I'm living without defilements. In the 100,000 eons, since I gave that gift at that time, I've come to know no bad rebirth. That's the fruit of a single seat. My defilements are now burnt up. All new existence is destroyed. Like elephants with broken chains, I am living without constraint. Being in best Buddha's presence was a very good thing for me. The three knowledges are attained. I have done what the Buddha taught, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Ekadussadayaka Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Ekadussadayaka Thera is finished. Gnanuttu 24 Sattakadambapupphiya. In the Himalayan region, there's a mountain named Kadamba. There were 7 Buddhas living. There on the side of the mountain, seeing a kadam tree in bloom, pressing both my hands together, taking 7 of its flowers, I placed them thinking of merit, due to that karma done very well, with intention and firm resolve. Discarding my human body, I went to Tvetisa then. In the 94 eons since, I did that good karma back then. I've come to know no bad rebirth. That's the fruit of Buddha puja. My defilements are now burnt up. All new existence is destroyed. Like elephants with broken chains, I am living without constraint. Being in best Buddha's presence was a very good thing for me. The 3 knowledges are attained. I have done what the Buddha taught, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Sattakadambapupphiya Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Sattakadambapupphiya Thera is finished. For 25. Korandapupphiya. I was then a forest worker, as were father and grandfathers, earning my living killing beasts. No wholesomeness exists for me. In the area where I lived, Tissa, chief leader of the world, Eiffel I, compassionately, showed me 3 of his own footsteps, and having seen the stepping feet of the teacher known as Tissa, happy and with a happy heart, I pleased my heart about his feet, seeing a Kora in bloom, foot drinker growing in the earth, taking a sprig with flowers, I did puja to those best of feet, due to that karma done very well, with intention and firm resolve, discarding my human body, I went to Tvatisa then, in whichever womb I'm reborn, whether it's human or divine, I'm the color of Kora, and radiantly beautiful, in the 92 eons since. I did that good karma back then. I've come to know no bad rebirth. That's the fruit of worshipping feet. My defilements are now burnt up. All new existence is destroyed. Like elephants with broken chains, I am living without constraint. Being in best Buddha's presence was a very good thing for me. The 3 knowledges are attained. I have done what the Buddha taught, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Korandapupphiya Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Korandapupphiya Thera is finished. For 26. Ghatamandadayaka. Seeing the Blessed One, well thought, the world's best one, the bull of men, entered into the great forest, tormented by internal pain, bringing pleasure to my own heart, I presented cream from some ghee. From doing and heaping that up, the river named Bhagirathi, and even the 4 great oceans, are supplying ghee cream to me, and even this whole awful earth, beyond measure, beyond counting, discerning what I am thinking, turns into honey and sugar. These trees on all 4 continents, foot drinkers growing in the earth, discerning what I am thinking, turn into wishing trees for me. 50 times the Lord of the gods, I exercised divine rule there, and 51 times I was then a king who turns the wheel of law, and I enjoyed much local rule, innumerable by counting. In the 94 eons since, I gave him that gift at that time. I've come to know no bad rebirth. That's the fruit of the cream from ghee. My defilements are now burnt up. All new existence is destroyed. Like elephants with broken chains, I am living without constraint. Being in best Buddha's presence was a very good thing for me. The 3 knowledges are attained. I have done what the Buddha taught, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Ghatamandadayaka Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Ghatamandadayaka Thera is finished. For 27. Ekadhammasavaniya. The victor, Pajamuttara, was the master of everything. While preaching the 4 noble truths, he ferried many folks across. A matted-haired ascetic then, I practiced fierce austerities. Throwing off my clothes made of bark, I traveled in the sky back then. I am not then able to go over him, the best of Buddhas. Like a bird that has struck a rock, I am unable to proceed. Having walked upon the water, so I am flying through the sky. Previously my behavior never had been interrupted. Well, now I'll investigate that. I might get some small benefit. Descending from the sky, I then heard the sweet sound of the teacher, who was preaching impermanence, with a voice that was enticing. good to listen to, beautiful. I took up that teaching back then. Having perceived impermanence, I went back to my hermitage, remaining as long as I lived. I later passed away right there. In subsequent existences, I recalled hearing the teaching. Due to that karma done very well, with intention and firm resolve, discarding my human body, I went to Tvetisa then. For 30,000 eons I delighted in the world of gods, and 51 times while there I exercised rule over the gods, and 21 times I was then a king who turns the wheel of law, and I enjoyed much local rule, innumerable by counting. I enjoyed my own good karma, being happy from birth to birth. Recalling that perception, I transmigrated from birth to birth. I do not comprehend the end, nirvana, the eternal state. Sitting down in my father's house, a monk with senses well controlled, was then explaining this sermon, spoken about impermanence. In flux indeed is all that is, things that arise and then decline, are being born and then dying. Happy is the relief from them. Right after having heard that verse, I recalled my past perception. Sitting down on a single seat, I attained my arahantship. When only 7 years of age, I attained my arahantship. The Buddha himself ordained me, the fruit of hearing the teaching. In the 100,000 eons, since I heard the teaching back then, I've come to know no bad rebirth, the fruit of hearing the teaching. My defilements are now burnt up. All new existence is destroyed. Like elephants with broken chains, I am living without constraint. Being in best Buddha's presence was a very good thing for me. The 3 knowledges are attained. I have done what the Buddha taught, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Ekadhammasavaniya Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Ekadhammasavaniya Thera is finished. (428). Sucintita. In the city Hasavat, I was a cultivator then. I earn my living by farming, and through it I feed my children. My field back then was bountiful, and my grain was producing seed. When the fruit-bearing time arrived, I then thought about it like this. It's not right, it is not fitting, for one who knows what's virtuous, that, without giving to the monks, I should consume the best of this. This Buddha's the impartial one, bearing the 32 great marks, reared by him the monks' assembly, is the unsurpassed merit field. I shall give a donation there, the first of each of the new crop. Thinking about it like that, I was happy with a gladdened mind. Then carrying grain from my field, I went up to the Sambuddha. Having approached the Sambuddha, the world's best one, the bull of men, and worshipping the teacher's feet, I spoke these words to the Buddha. The new crop of grain has prospered. You're the recipient of gifts. O sage, showing me compassion, please accept it, O Eyeful One. Pajamuttara, world knower, sacrificial recipient, discerning what I was thinking, spoke these words to me at that time. For have entered into the path, for are established in its fruit. This monk's assembly is upright, settled in wisdom and morals. Merit done for the good rebirths, of people doing rituals, beings looking to earn merit, gifted for the monks, bears great fruit. The new crop, so too more than that, is to be given to these monks. Proposing it, lead monks from the assembly to that house of yours. What has been prepared in your house, give that to the monks' assembly. Proposing it, leading monks from the assembly to that house of mine. What had been prepared in my house, I gave to the monks' assembly. Due to that karma done very well, with intention and firm resolve, discarding my human body, I went to Tvetisa then. There my well-constructed mansion was made of gold, brightly shining. It rose up 60 leagues in height, and it was 30 leagues in width. The 19th recitation portion, that palace of mine was crowded, filled with varied groups of women, eating and also drinking there. I live among the 30 gods, and 3 times in succession I exercised divine rule back then, and 5 times in succession I was a monarch who turns the wheel, and I enjoyed much local rule, innumerable by counting, transmigrating from birth to birth. I receive unlimited wealth. I have no lack of possessions. That is the fruit of a new crop. Elephant and horse vehicles, palanquins, also chariots. I am obtaining all of them. That is the fruit of a new crop. New clothing and likewise new fruit. New food which has the best flavor. I am obtaining all of them. That is the fruit of a new crop. Silk cloth and woolen blankets too. Coma and also cotton cloth. I am obtaining all of them. That is the fruit of a new crop. Groups of slave women, groups of slaves, and women who are all decked out. I am obtaining all of them. That is the fruit of a new crop. I am not cold. I am not hot. Burning fever does not exist. And also mental suffering is non-existent in my mind. People say, eat this, enjoy this, lit down to sleep in this good bed. I am obtaining all of that. That is the fruit of a new crop. Now is the final time for me. My last rebirth is proceeding. Today the fruit which I donated is always making me happy. After donating my new crop, for the monks of splendid virtue, I experience 8 results, in accordance with my karma. I'm handsome and I'm famous too, very wealthy and free from harm. Always in the majority, my retinue has no factions. They all are giving me respect. Whomever on earth I mix with, and whatever gifts there may be, I always get the first of each, in the middle of the monks or face to face with the best Buddha, passing over all the others. The donors are giving to me, having given the first new crop. For the monks of splendid virtue, I am enjoying these results. That is the fruit of a new crop. In the 100,000 eons, since I gave that donation, then I've come to know no bad rebirth. That is the fruit of a new crop. My defilements are now burnt up. All new existence is destroyed. Like elephants with broken chains, I am living without constraint. Being in best Buddha's presence was a very good thing for me. The 3 knowledges are attained. I have done what the Buddha taught, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Sucintita spoke these verses. The legend of Sucintita is finished. 429. Sovannakhinkhanya. Having departed home with faith, I went forth into homelessness. Wearing robes made out of bark, I placed my trust in asceticism. Ekadussadayaka, the Blessed One, the world's best one, the Bull of Men, came to be in that period, ferrying many folks across. All my strength was then exhausted, due to a serious illness. Remembering the best Buddha, making an excellent stupa of sand with a happy heart, I scattered golden kikani blooms by the thousands on that stupa, my mind full of exultation. As though facing the Sambuddha, I attended on that stupa, with mental pleasure about him. Ekadussadayaka, the neutral one, reborn in the world of the gods. I'm obtaining great happiness. There I was the color of gold. That's the fruit of Buddha Puja. There I had 800 million women dressed in their ornaments. They're waiting on me all the time. That's the fruit of Buddha Puja. There's 60,000 instruments, bara drums and pava drums, conch shells and daima drums too, speaking the lovely sound of drums. And also 84,000 elephants all ornamented, tagas rutting in 3 ways, and tuskers 60 years of age, covered over with nets of gold, always are attending on me, and elephants equipped for war are not ever lacking for me. I am enjoying the result of golden kikani flowers. 58 times I exercised sovereignty over all the gods, and 71 times I was a king who turns the wheel of law. On earth 101 times I exercised world rulership. That one has now gained deathlessness, unconditioned, hard to perceive. The fetters have all been destroyed. Now there will be no more rebirth. In the 1800 eons, since I presented that flower, I've come to know no bad rebirth. That is the fruit of Buddha Puja. My defilements are now burnt up. All new existence is destroyed. Like elephants with broken chains, I am living without constraint. Being in best Buddha's presence was a very good thing for me. The three knowledges are attained. I have done what the Buddha taught, the four analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Sovannakinkhanya spoke these verses. The legend of Sovannakinkhanya is finished. (430) Sovannakatariya, the self-composed one, the Buddha, the self-tamer, attentive one, wandering the path of Brahma, delighting in mental relief, the flood-crosser, the Sambuddha, who loves meditation and trance, the sage, the seated one, attainer, brilliant as blue lotus petals. I approached him, the best Buddha, taking a gourd to hold water. After washing the Buddha's feet, I gave that water gourd to him. The Sambuddha then had it fetched. The leader, Pajamuttara, bringing more water with this gourd, place it at the soles of my feet, agreeing, saying, "Excellent," and with respect for the teacher, carrying water with the gourd, I brought it to the best Buddha. The great hero gave thanks for that, quenching the anguish in my heart. Because of giving me this gourd, let what you think be accomplished. For 15 eons after that, I delighted in the God's world, and 30 times I was a king who turns the wheel of law, whether by day or else by night, walking back and forth or standing. A water pot made out of gold is standing right in front of me. Giving a gourd to the Buddha, I receive a gold water pot. The deed done with little trouble becomes huge like that later on, in the 100,000 eons. Since I gave him that gourd back then, I've come to know no bad rebirth. That's the fruit of giving a gourd. My defilements are now burnt up. All new existence is destroyed. Like elephants with broken chains, I am living without constraint. Being in best Buddha's presence was a very good thing for me. The 3 knowledges are attained. I have done what the Buddha taught, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Sovannakinkhanya spoke these verses. The legend of Sovannakinkhanya is finished. The summary: Sakiṁsammajjaka Thera, Ekadussi, thus Asani, then Kadamba and Kora, Gata also Savannaka, Sucintita, Kikanika, and Sovannakatariya too. There are 100 verses here, plus 71 more verses. The Sakiṁsammajjaka chapter, the 43rd.